What's good, family? IOBA. My name is TC. This is the Awareness Channel. So, um, Donald Trump and the Republicans have decided that they want to do away with the Section 8 housing voucher program, along with a lot of other cuts and stuff that they're making, a lot of other federal programs that they're cutting and deleting and gutting and you know. So my thing is this: you're going to see a lot of homeless people because were it not for Section 8, a lot of people wouldn't be able to afford their rent. I mean, there is nowhere in the country where you can afford a one-bedroom apartment on, $15 an hour. And he wants to cut another social safety net that helps many people out. We already know that most families, cannot afford a $400, $500 emergency. They can't do it. And now, one of the few lifelines that there are left, they want to cut that too. It's like they're trying to drive people into the streets. It's like they almost want to be cruel. The cruelty is the point in some of these cuts that they're making. You're probably going to see a lot of homeless people. You're probably going to see more people living in their cars. You couple this, what he's doing now, with the tariffs or the new tax of 10% across the board. Well, fuck, they just want people to starve to death and live outside in the cold. I told people a long time ago what a big ass mistake they was making by putting Donald Trump and the Republicans back in charge. But they just couldn't stand to see Kamala Harris and the Democrats in the White House. Now, on a lot of things, the Democrats and the Republicans are basically the same, playing the same game. But on a lot of other things, they are not. And we gotta be real about that. On a lot of other things, and I'm an independent who leans far to the left. I believe there's enough shit to go around for everybody in this country, and then some. I believe there's enough shit to go around for everybody in this world, and then some. But we live under these capitalistic societies where profit is king. And if you can't make a profit from it, it ain't gonna happen. So if you can't house and feed and clothe everybody without turning a profit, then everybody ain't gonna get housed, fed, and clothed. That's the type of society we live in, and the United States is the worst country in the world for this type of shit right now in history. Now, me and some of my co-workers were talking today about this thing, and they come up with these anecdotal cases where they know somebody that's been on Section 8 for a long time and pays very little out of their pocket for rent, and they seem to have a problem with it. Okay, I can come up with that kind of shit too. I can come up with cases where people should be paying more and, taking advantage of the system. I could come up with that kind of shit too. But that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is the people who really bust their ass every day at these low-wage jobs, trying to live. People who been to college, who went to school, who did everything right, and still don't have enough to make ends meet. I'm not talking about the people like, the outliers that are way out on the fringes of these programs. I'm talking about the main body of people who need these programs to survive. The United States can afford to take care of its citizens if it would quit trying to take care of everybody else. If it would quit trying to police the whole fucking world. That's what I'm saying. For example, why do we need 700 or 800 military bases all over the world? We don't. We don't. I ran that thing through ChatGPT the other day. If you cut the number of military bases in half, you still have more military bases than any other country, and you'd have enough money in your budget so that you wouldn't have to cut social safety nets, and you would be able to take care of your citizens. And you could still be the biggest dogs on the block. But no. The United States government would rather spend the money on guns and bombs and tanks and airplanes and shit. Weapons of war. Selling them all around the world, keeping the wars going so that they can keep that military-industrial complex chugging along with something like 800 military bases spread all over the world so that they can police the world rather than take care of their own citizens. That shit is crazy to me. It is crazy to me. And just for the record, the majority of the people that take advantage of these programs are white folks, white women. Just for the record. So I'm not talking, out of my blackness, although my blackness does matter to me, as y'all know. I'm not talking out of my blackness. I'm talking about as a regular working class brother who's been busting his ass since he's 12 years old, paying into the system. There was a time when I wasn't on Section 8, but because I made too much money. But I did not make enough money to live comfortably with one job. I had to fucking rotate between, 4 jobs. I'll break down how I did that at some point, but I had to work 4 different places at the same time in order to do what I had to do to live a halfway decent life. And I trust and believe I wasn't balling by no stretch of the imagination. I didn't qualify for Section 8, but bless the people who did. But right now, Section 8, like a lot of other programs that people depend on just to get by, are going away. The prices of everything are going to going up at least 10%, because the 10% tariff is not going to go away. That was just a 10% tax increase. That's a 10% tax increase that's going to stay there. Even after Donald Trump leaves, I don't believe that the next president is going to get rid of that 10% tax increase from the Trump administration. He ain't going to get rid of it. If anything, he'll drop the tariffs or shrink them down to 10%. But he won't get rid of them, not entirely. And everything coming out of China is going to be right now taxed / tariff at 2.5%, 145%. So everything going to be 2.5 times more expensive than it is now. And where them Section 8 people going to be when those kick in? Because now you can't afford your rent and you can't afford to feed yourself. You definitely ain't going to be able to drive. You're not going to be able to drive because you ain't going to be able to afford a car. Because all of the car parts come from countries that are also tariffed. That's going to drive up the price of new and used cars. So you ain't going to be able to get around. It's going to be a fucked up place at the end of these 4 years for us to be trying to live in. You know what I mean? It's going to be a messed up place. I mean, we'll make it. The country will survive. But it's going to be a very different place. And it's going to take a really strong politician to try to fix some of the things that are being torn apart by this administration. You dig me? So, all I can tell people is hope for the best, but prepare for the worst when it comes to that. Because I don't see no good times ahead. I don't see nothing positive for the next 3.5 years. You thought 2016 to 2020 was bad. And we only, 110, 115 days in to this administration is already this bad? Wait till after 2 years. Wait till after 2 years. And I'm going to close with this. I just hope that my coworker is right and something happens to where we change presidents. Till we change presidents before this 4-year term is over with. Because if we have to sit through this stuff for 3.5 more years, and we ain't gonna have no country. I mean, you got a man and his administration. They don't even care what the courts say. They don't even care what the judicial branch of the government says. They just doing whatever the hell they want to do. You feel me? So, there you have it. The only bright spot, though, on the horizon is the midterm elections. The midterm elections are going to be important this time because the Republican Party, they don't seem to be heeding any of the warnings. Like, they got these little special elections going on all over the country, and the Republicans are getting voted out of office and getting landslided out of office. And politicians from other parts of the world are getting landslided out of office, and politicians who have a viewpoint similar to Donald Trump's are getting landslided out of office and getting beaten by more progressive politicians and politicians who want to help their people, as opposed to getting rich and helping, corporations. Our politicians are not taking heed to those warnings. So when the midterms come around, when the midterm elections come around, everybody and their mama got to get out, do their civic duty, and try to start the cleanup of this shitstorm that we have in the way of Donald Trump and the Republican Party. Thanks for coming by and checking with me and listening to me talk my shit. Like I said, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I will catch y'all on the next one. TC, and I'm out. Peace.